say that, it's just like it makes me like, you're right. 100% right.
You're in complete control, man. You're in complete control. What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Mind Your Business Show.
Yeah.
Got a special guest today, Derrick Omar Justice, aka hip hop star, aka prophetic man. You know what I mean? Yes. He's doing his thing out there. I actually interacted with him whenever I went to the summer collection in July? Summer collection. Yeah. And we hit it off from there. Hold on, one of these lights went out. Give me 1 second.
Pardon us, y'all. We good.
Yeah. Let me see. See, it would do that. We were talking to you earlier. They say, you can't do all that. You can't just be telling them all the secrets.
We've been talking so real on camera.
Can't
they already started, man.
Exactly. Man. All the secrets now, you know. But yeah, I met him at the show, and we pretty much hit it off from there. I was going to link up with my boy Just Amazing too as well. Definitely shout him out. They actually have a project together that recently came out. It's called what? Before Christ, right?
Before Christ. It's his album, but we definitely got some features on there from me as well, and a few other artists. Though, man, go get that. Stream that. It's out now. Before Christ, Just Amazing. Go get that, man. I promise you won't be disappointed, man.
Definitely. So. How I do the show is I kind of shout out my sponsors, and then I say a little bit about you, and I'll let you describe yourself when we get into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So first off, I want to shout out Paradiso Vacay. It is definitely a timeshare company that you would definitely want to get involved with and go out and with your friends, with your girls, with your homies, with your family. I believe it's $700 for the timeshare, alcoholic, non-alcoholic as well. And then if you go with just your friends, maybe a friend or two, I believe it's $550. So definitely look into that. Also, I want to shout out my other sponsor, Aventino Watches. They're a watch company out in Paris, France. They provide me with some great watches. And, when I release my clothing line, I'll definitely be giving away more of those watches when it comes around. So like I told you before, we have Derrick Omar Justice here today. Cool dude, cool cat. Like I said, we hit it off. He's got a clothing brand. He's got music as well, and he also is a man of Christ. And we'll probably get into all of that as it goes along. So when I think of Derrick Justice, I think of hip hop star, prophetic, clothing brand. How do you describe yourself?
Basically, man, brother, just a man that's just trying to find his way. All of those things, but at the end of the day, like I'm a man still trying to find his way. I'm a flawed human. I know we hear that consistently, continuously, but I'm just a man that's trying to just make it and just trying to stay the course and stay flat-footed in this. So,
yeah, I definitely understand that. I was watching a YouTube video earlier, and he said, would you rather be smart or would you rather be wise? And he's like, I'd rather be wise because when you're wise, you understand you don't know anything.
Yeah.
I said, man, I was like, and kind of what you said, it kind of reminisces of what he said when it came to that. So I definitely agree with that too as well, man.
Most definitely.
So, we'll kind of get into it, we'll kind of start, we can start more in the musical realm right now, and kind of how it goes. So like what kind of got you into doing music? Were you kind of growing up in music? Did your family play instruments, or you did it in the church, or was it just something like, man, like I looked up to this artist and I want to do it?
Most definitely. Ever since I was a kid, music was always in our home, and that's once again the most cliche thing that we always. But as especially as black men, Saturday morning cleanup. I don't know if anybody else had that, but I know in my home, me and my sisters and brothers, we had Saturday morning cleanup. So my mom would wake us all up early in the morning, like, all right, let's get up, let's start cleaning up. My mom would turn on the music, blaring it up loud. So we just start cleaning up, and that, every Saturday, that just kind of, resonated with me, especially hearing the different types of music that my mom always put on, from the Temptations, the Isley Brothers, the OJs, man, so forth and so forth. And then my uncle Chris, really, he introduced me to hip hop. My mom introduced me to, some hip hop, the 80s, of course, Slick Rick, Rakim, but he really introduced me to hip hop. And what I mean by that is like the culture of it, I first heard Brenda's Got a Baby, And that was my first introduction into Tupac and storytelling and deep storytelling.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, man, this is amazing, man. And then it just kind of went from there, man. I just started studying all the greats, like, you know, of course, NWA, you know, Pac, of course, Biggie, Wu-Tang Clan, even our Southern founders, UGK, A-Ball and MJG, Outkast, so forth and so forth. So I just started really diving into hip hop and just trying to garner my skills in it. I wrote my first rap when I was 14. Terrible.
No, I was 13, I already know.
So I tried to write my first song when I was 14, and it was terrible. But I really wanted to garner my skills. So when I turned 16, it was this guy by the name of Larry James. I went to Nimitz High School. Shout out all the Cougars. I went to Nimitz High School, and it was a guy by the name of Larry James.
Yeah.
And him and my boy Adriel would always, beat on the back of the bus, on the back of the window.
Like, or the pen at the table.
Exactly. Yeah, you already know. So he would always bust a freestyle in the morning. So I was like, man, and he had such skill and such poise when he rapped. You can just see the confidence just oozing off of him, because he just knew that he was that dope. So it really made me want to go back home and, like, you know what, I'm gonna really try to write. And I really wrote my first decent song to Cassidy's AM to the PM.
Man, I heard that in a minute.
Oh man, if y'all know about that song, man, that's truly a throwback. I'm just showing my age now. But I wrote to that, and then it just went from there. I was just like a sponge. I was just started, just gaining as much knowledge as I could on how to approach a song, how to write a hook, and so forth and so forth. So I just kind of gave y'all the long version of it. But yeah, man, after that, it just started to become, I would say, elevate. I have not written my best song yet, but each day I'm still like a sponge.
Yeah.
So,
I understand that, man. We kind of, just real quick, if you're in here and you're chatting, like, if you have any comments or questions, go ahead and type them up. My phone's kind of far away, and I'll go ahead and read it once the interview's over, and I'll go ahead and say everything I got to say. I definitely appreciate y'all coming through. But it's similar, like you said, Brenda's got a baby, so our stories are somewhat similar. I kind of grew up more on gospel music, because that's what my parents always listened to. My dad's a pastor as well. So we always had, like, Yolanda Adams, Kirk Franklin, Fred Hammond. You know how it goes in the old Cadillac with the little red velvet seats. Everybody cramped in the back going to church on Sunday morning. But then, when I got introduced to hip hop, I got introduced to, my first song I heard was Jay-Z, Dead Presidents. What I mean? So that kind of opened me up to the hip hop realm. And, I kind of kept, modeled myself after Jay-Z in the sense of business and the things that I wanted to accomplish in the game. You know what I mean? So I feel that definitely, man. So you said you kind of started at like 14. How long have you been doing it, man? Like, is it something that is just, and also within all that as well, like, what's your goal within making music? Do you just want to be better than you were yesterday? Do you want fame or anything like that? I don't think you want that, but, like, what's the end goal for you in music wise?
That's a very good question. I'm not gonna lie, that's a very good question. My end game really is because now I'm at the point in my life where I'm older and I'm wise now.
Yeah. Yeah, most definitely.
I'm wise now. So and we'll talk about my transition into the spiritual rapping part of it.
For sure.
As well though, but back to what you said, my end game is to make things better than how I found it.
Yeah.
Through music. I always promote God. I always promote positivity. So what I really want to do is, make the world better than what I found it.
Yeah.
Putting out more positive than negative, because each and every day we go through life and we see more of the negative. We don't never see positivity. not to say there's not positivity out there, but we tend to see more of the negative, whether it be on music, whether it be through people, whether it be through news, and especially social media, because that's where we get all our information first. So I feel like and to quote Tupac, if I can spark the brain of one person, then I'll be happy with that. So if I can just change the mind of at least one person, or change the lifestyle of one person, then that would be a blessing to me, and for them to see, the light. Like I said, I'm not perfect. I'm not saying that I'm just holier than thou than anybody that's walking. No, I'm not that. I never will be that, man. We all are flawed at the end of the day, but I don't let that define me. I always want to take it a step each and every day to try to be better than I was yesterday. All right, I made a mistake yesterday. How can I not try? How can I try not to make that same mistake? So if I can just really let everybody see the more positive side of the world, the positive side of human beings. That would be definitely a wonderful end goal.
And what do you think? So we'll kind of stay on this music tip. And plus, what you just said, you want to make yourself better the next day. What do they say? The definition of insanity: doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. If you're doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, you might be insane. But we're going to talk about that later. You know what I'm saying? But why do you think people are so that they gravitate more towards negativity? Because I kind of take it as, look, if Jay-Z, Lil Wayne, all these different artists, I mean, you can name various artists, they do say some things within their lyrics that it's dang, that's wrong. But I feel like if they flipped their concepts, or if they told kids that, hey, go read books, this is how you make money, and they constantly, repetitively put that in people's minds, I think people would be more likely to create more positivity. Do you kind of agree with that, or?
Yeah. As far as that, and this is not a knock to those that we're really not trying to place blame, but we placing blame. But back in the days, and I'm pretty sure y'all can agree with me, when we were coming up, you had of course we had, I would say the bad side of rap, but you also had the good side of rap. You had Brenda's Got a Baby, the results of teen pregnancy. You had Keep Your Head Up. You had Dear Mama. You had these different type, classic. You had these different type of songs, like how UGK told you about the drug game, but they also told you, if you get into this, there are different things that's going to happen. You're going to go to jail, you're going to lose your entire family, so forth and so forth. So we had these different type of things in our, as far as us coming up, we had these different type of things where you can, if you didn't have a father, where you can kind of resonate, you can kind of take some, some manly structure from it, and how Jay-Z always kind of discussed business on, a business tip through his music. And that's how we came up. So you can kind of take some of that from these guys when we were coming up. But it's now it has gotten to a point where negative is like a forbidden fruit. It's just this thing that it's I heard a man tell me that how you trap a chimp is you get something shiny. So it's like that shiny thing. Negative is like that shiny thing. It's man, it's good. It's carefree. You go by no rules. So people like that. People don't like rules. People like a no holds bar world. But if you go to a positive world, there's some structure here. You can't do that. You can't do this. You gotta behave yourself in a certain way. And people don't like that. They tend to not shy away from it. They openly get away from it. So as far as music now, that is more what it's garnering to. That shoot 'em up, bang, bang. It's okay, after you shoot 'em up, bang, bang, then what happens now? what happens? Because exactly, they say that it's not the way they portraying it. Like it's no consequences after you shoot or kill somebody. So that's why you have all these young people that come up and they hear this. They're like, man, this, there's no repercussions after this. Man, I'm gonna go out here and do this, man. So that's why you get things like smoking on the op pack and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I'm not trying to be the typical old head to say this, but this is just something that I see every single day. And I'm pretty sure everybody sees that as well, but they just kind of afraid to say it.
Yeah, they are. Because nobody wants to be canceled. Nobody wants to,
and nobody wants to be held
accountable for their actions.
Exactly, man.
Accountability in this world, that's at a 0%. You know what I mean?
Zero.
So, and I kind of agree with what you're saying. You were saying that, they hear him say this on the song and they do this shoot 'em up, bang, bang, so they think there's no consequences. So I think about that as well, because if you, like me, I first heard a rap song when I was 5 years old, 6 years old. That was Jay-Z, Dead President's Reasonable Doubt. I think it came out 96, around that time. And what people don't realize, when you're a young kid and you're growing up, like, you don't understand the difference between reality and fantasy. So when you watch Superman flying off, that's why you're jumping on top of the person and putting your cape on, because you don't understand it. So now, if those ideas are manipulating you up to that point, then you're gonna pretty much do those things that you've already put in your subconscious. You know what I mean? That's why I think it's a blessing that I did grow up on gospel music, because I think it switched up my subconscious as an older gentleman now.
Yeah, you had that structure. That structure, it all starts as a kid. That's why kids are so, impressionable. That's why people nowadays, from music to television, whatever, they come to our children first. Once they come to our kids first, then whatever you indoctrinate in their mind, then they grow up thinking that that's okay and that's how it should be. So that's why they come at our kids first. They can't really come to adults, because we already kind of have all right, this is what I am. This is what I'm going to
do. So your brainwash is already done. Once you're 25, it's already got you.
Done. So decision making and for children, it hasn't developed yet. Because when you're 25, your frontal lobe it's not formed to take on decision making and acts of like repercussions. So that's why you see younger people going out here going crazy. And that's why when you become 25, 26, 27, you start kind of getting accountability, responsibility, and so forth and so forth. You start making sound decisions and sound-minded decisions. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, it gets deep, man.
It's deeper than telekinesis, y'all. I'm telling you right now. Shout out to Big Sean for that one. But yeah, I wanted to shout out my mentor, Mike. He has a great clothing brand called You Wear. I think he went to Nimitz High School as well.
Oh, man.
I'm go ahead and connect y'all up. You know what I mean? Connect y'all up. And he's got his own radio show too, so he might have to get you on there too, bro.
Man,
So yeah, man, I mean, that's pretty much how it goes, man. That's how the cookie crumbles. But we got to make sure that, I don't really know the exact plan on how to do it, but I was told by my uncle years ago, he's like, we're not going to allow our daughter to be on an iPad before she's 5 years old, because when they put yourself in that box or that rectangle or whatever, it blocks your creativity. He's like, so we're not going to allow her to play with an iPad, even though she was doing it. Like, I remember we were out in Atlanta and she knows how to buy stuff for some reason. She was on my mom's iPad, and she ended up ordering like 3 things.
That's how they are now. They come out the room with an iPhone, iPad, man.
They know how to buy stuff. This is crazy, man. So let's kind of stay in the music realm a little bit more. So, like, what would you say is kind of unique about your style? I mean, I don't ever like to compare people to other people, but what would you say is like unique about your style and the way you create music compared to others, or just compared to yourself from when you started to where you're at now?
I would say compared to me then to now, then I was rapping really about everything that some things that I did and some things that I just saw, but I did it into a form of, how would I say it? I did it into a form of just rapping. I would say rapping about nonsense. That's what I would say. Rapping about nonsense.
Rhyming words.
Yeah, just rhyming words,
I
man.
got
Just
you.
rap. You know, I was especially I was one of those typical rappers that rap about drug dealing, killing and shooting and everything. But as I made my transition to now I think about what everything that I want to say. All right, what message am I putting out there now? What am I trying to get the masses to hear? As far as like what message am I sending out there? Because I never want to try to send the wrong message to people. I never want to try to send a message of oh man, you know, everything is happy, you know. No, I'm not going to give you that. I'm going to give you, okay, everything out here is messed up, but there is a way. There's a way. There's a different life. There's a light that you can follow, and it doesn't have to be this way all the time. It doesn't have to be negative all the time, you know. So
you know, just because it's messed up out there doesn't mean you have to be.
Exactly.
You know?
You know, it goes back to that sparking of the brain. You know, getting that right message out. So I feel like I'm better than I was when I first started out, because now it's more of it's a better message in total that I'm sending out, and it's much more feel good. You know, it makes you feel good instead of, you know, when I used to step out the booth, I just be like on like I feel like a head case, man. Like I'm like, you know, just darkness, you know. Now it's more like, okay, like I feel good about this, man. This is good for the soul, you know.
Yeah,
it's food for the soul.
What do you think like inflicted that change? You know, because you know, everybody has the story of how they transition to get to that next point, but it's like, you know, I think what it sounds like, you realize the tongue's mightier than the sword, and you really kind of took it to heart. So like, is there something that transpired in life that inflicted that?
Basically just seeing, just going through certain circumstances from the typical street life, from different aspects. Fighting, I caught a terrible gun case that I thought I'll never, you know, escape from. And I was at a real low point in my life at that time. You know, I was one of those ones that didn't really believe in depression until it happened to me. This was like all of 2016, man. I was just, you know, it just came on me like a ton of bricks, you know, from the gun case to real situations in my life to where I had to, you know, fight and pack guns and stuff like that, and just a slew of stuff, man. Terrible relationships, man. It was just it was just terrible, man. Like deep drinking, you know, alcoholism. Like it was a real bad and real rough year for me. And then I just got to a point where I just the Lord had to ask me, like, hey, not had to ask, but He asked me, you know, because He told me. He said, you can either keep going down this road or you can just die. Like, you keep going down this road, you can die, or you can just give your life to me, man. Which one is it? And I ain't asking you this no more. So I literally just took a step back and just thought about everything that I went through, and it just seemed like going, you know, following Him was more of it was a better risk than going down the road that I was going down and seeing like, okay, how am I gonna die? Like, which, you know, how am I gonna do this? You know, so I said, okay, if you get me out of this situation, then I will follow you. And I was going through a gun case, and then all of a sudden, it just literally, I can't explain it, disappeared. Like it literally, like nothing happened after that. Man. Nothing happened after that. And when I tell people the story, they kind of like, "What? Are you serious?" I kid you not, man. I kid you not. It just disappeared.
God led us with the paper to the shred machine. He said, "I got you." Don't even the sheet dropped in the wrist. I don't even remember his name.
So it just like, and that right there was my supernatural experience right there. So then I said, okay, I'm gonna follow you then. There is no questions asked. I'm just gonna follow you.
Yeah.
And ever since then, it's been on. And like with this walk, I tell people like, this is one of the hardest walks that you will ever have to go through in your life. Being on, you know, as far as like what we call being in the world is the easiest thing. Like you know, there's no rules. You can, you know, you do whatever you want to. Do what art thou wilt.
Do what thou wilt.
Do what thou wilt.
That's Aleister Crowley.
Yeah.
He's a psycho.
Yeah. He was on the Beatles cover. Y'all.
He was on Jay-Z's sweater too. But yeah, there's a lot of
game, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was like that. So as far as like I said, it's one of the hardest walks that you're gonna have to go through because it's just so much and so many things that try to throw you off of your walk. And even when you, let's just say you're not into this walk, but even if you're trying to live a good, positive life, it's the hardest thing that you can do. It's easy to be bad, but it's hard to heck to be good. It's hard as heck to be good. It's hard. So, you know, you have to stay flat-footed, keep a positive mind, but at the same time, you have to keep, you have to be aware, because you have to be as wise as a serpent, but as gentle as a dove.
That's the truth.
So you have to be well aware of things that come, the fiery darts that he sends at you. So you have to be prepared and be open and be always on point, because at any time,
water puddle right there, slip up. No caution on the floor for you either.
None. So you have to be on the lookout.
Yeah, man. And I can completely understand your story. I don't know if you kind of know mine, but it's similar. My life has been kind of just like, you know, we talked a little bit before the interview, but I mean, I've had friends pass away from all different things, car accidents, ODing, you know, killing themselves, I mean, all types of stuff, man. So I went to that point too, where I was just drinking, and you're like, you would drink, like I would drink in the morning, you know what I mean? And I'm like, why am I even doing this? But it's like in your mind, you trick yourself and you're thinking that, well, I'm not hurting anybody, so like what's wrong with it? You know what I mean? But then at the end of the day, you realize that you're coping with so many things, or trying to cope with these things, and you have to understand that you can't pull yourself out of this. Like there's a higher being, God, that is going to be the one that can help you get out of this, because you're not going to be able to fight the enemy yourself, because the enemy is stronger than you. You know what I mean?
And that's what I don't think people really understand. That they think they really can try to be more wise and more powerful than the devil. You have to understand, like, and even if y'all don't believe this, man, you have, like, you know, just keep this in mind. Like, evil been around for centuries. Evil been around, you know, for centuries. So don't you think evil has studied our behavior, has studied our ways, has studied everything about us? So evil knows how to get us, how to, you know, manipulate us. So you have to understand, like, it's not a game. And if just as much as evil can study you, good can study you as well. So it's always a light at the end of the tunnel. You just have to follow it.
It's so true, man. I remember, you know, mine always goes back to females, but or women. I know that's like a bad word now to say for some reason. But anyway, so when it comes to women, like I had this girl a long time ago I was talking to, man, and you know, she had, like, I'm not gonna say she was evil, because I can't put those words into, I don't want to put that on anybody, and I don't believe it's that, because everybody makes mistakes and you go through the process. But I remember she had like a strong hold on me, like had me sewn up. You know what I'm saying? Like had me sewn up, bro. And like so, whenever like we kind of split up and went our separate ways, I would see her car everywhere, bro. Like, you know what I mean? And it's like, but it's not really her. So I'd always look over and I'm like, that's not her, but it's the same exact car. I would see it all the time. And I think I can't say it was God working. I can't say it's the enemy working, but I feel like the fact that I know who she was as a person, I felt like it was the enemy working. You know what I mean? And it's like, kind of, you played Grand Theft Auto before, whenever you steal a car or something, all of a sudden you see that car everywhere on the road. It was like that. And I'm like, bro, why am I seeing her car everywhere? Like, this is crazy. But, this is years and years ago, but I think I was like 22 at this point. So, it was what it was, but I would just see her car everywhere. I'm like, this is crazy. Like, what's going on? So, you just got to make sure to keep your eyes open. And like you said, the enemy knows. And what trips me out sometimes is knowing like, this spiritual and metaphysical world we kind of live in, it's like, was it that car even there? What if it was like black, but you saw it that way? You know what I mean?
And like, see, it played on your heartstrings.
Yeah.
Like, hey man, go ahead and call her, you miss her. You miss her. And deep down in your heart, you're like, man, I miss her. She was bad for me. Why am I seeing her? Like, no.
Bro, exactly.
So it knows you. Evil been here for centuries, so it knows you, so it's playing on your heartstrings.
Yeah, bro.
Knowing that was toxic for you. So it's trying to put you back into that. No.
Yeah, I said, I just went in and blocked her and everything.
Yeah, let me go ahead and
move around.
Get rid of this, man.
Move around. So let's kind of, go more towards your clothing company. You know what I mean? That's how Only Way Is Up, right?
Only Way Is Up.
Kind of talk about that, how that inspired. And I mean, you got the hat on now.
I got the hat on right now.
I got one of your beanies in my closet.
You got one of my beanies, man.
So, kind of let them know about your brand and what you're trying to like influence and what you're trying to do with it.
Only Way Is Up was something that I had. Well, I didn't have Only Way Is Up at the time, but the clothing idea came back in 2015. I kind of had like an idea that I wanted to do clothing. So I didn't really act on to it because, of course, the knucklehead stuff. I call it playing gangster. You in these streets, you playing gangster, man. That ain't the real you. That's not the real you. That's not your purpose of you being here on earth. So I call it playing gangster. So of course I was playing gangster, didn't want to do it, and I just went the knucklehead route until, like I said, I had my awakening, and then it came back to me in 2017. I said, you know what, let me try to go ahead and start this clothing line. But I didn't have a name for it. I didn't have a logo for it at all. So I was like, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna work, save up some money, and try to do it. So 17 goes by, 18 goes by, and like the end of 2019, I was like, I want to do it, but I don't know. And then I stayed up all night, and I was like, you know what? Let me stop saying I'm gonna do it and just do it. Instead of just talking about it, let me go ahead and be about it. And that's what, not to, go off subject though, but that's what we kind of tend to do in our lives. When we don't know the unknown, we tend to, we'll put it, put it on the back burner, keep on waiting. Or if you're inspired to do something, you say, nah, I'll wait on it later, and you keep on pushing it back. No. If you're inspired to do something, or, if you want to go ahead and go back to school or finish your degree or start whatever the case may be, man, just do it. Don't sit up there and say, oh, I'm going to wait. Just do it. Because if you attack it now, the end result will be much better instead of just waiting, because we're not getting any younger. We just getting older. So all that time you said, I'm going to go back to school, and here it is, you're 36 years old, and you're still saying you're going to go to school. You're never going to go to school. You'll never go to school.
You'll never take that next step.
Exactly. So we have to stop being afraid of the unknown and attack it head on. But like back to the back to it.
You good?
So I said, you know what? I'm just going to stop talking about it and be about it. So I went and got my LLC for it. I came up with the name because I wanted to resemble everything that people, what the everyday man would either say or what what they can do. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I just sat there and Spirit told me, only way is up. Yeah. Because that is, only way is up is, if you're down, you can say, man, well, the only way is up, man. Mm-hmm. If you're somebody that is spiritual, you're trying to make it to heaven. Mm-hmm. And the only way to heaven is up. So we're trying to make it there. So it just kind of, of course it had a nice ring to it as well, but that's what we all trying to aspire. We're trying to go up. We're trying to move up and elevate in life. Yeah. So the only way is up. Exactly. So I did that, got my LLC for it, and then I wanted to come up with also with a logo, but I just couldn't get it. And once again, the Spirit came, and the arrow represents, of course, up. The red is the blood of Jesus, and the gold crown of thorns is what, if you don't know the Bible, that was what they placed on his head to mock him as the King of the Jews. So I just wanted that to, I wanted that to have a symbol of who, what I follow, what I mean? And of course, that's the O for the only way is up. But I got it trademarked, and we just went up from there, man. Yeah. The website will definitely www.onlyWayIsUp.com. Go and get your merch there. But yeah, man, that was just the whole premise of it, man. And the reason why we went that route was because we wanted people to, just being, I would say, don't want to make it too cliche, but like just have something on that represents the kingdom, is what I say. It represents the everyday man who's trying to stay on that path of righteousness, and stay on that path of positivity. And that's what we hear, and that's what we all about, man. Positivity, promoting God, and sound mind and clear thinking. You gotta have that clear thinking. Yeah. When you're I call it the glitch in the system, right? Yeah. So it's like if you're always like a positive person, and then you're around somebody, and then you're just kind of like, what? I've never thought like that before. I don't think like that. That's like a glitch in the matrix. To you, it's like you gotta let go at that point. It's so funny. I've had that plenty of times, man. Like I'll just, that's the Spirit telling you. You walk up on somebody, and it's like your whole vibe changed. Your thought patterns even change. It's like, whoa, hold up. Oh man, you mean me no good, man. Exactly, so it's like, all right, yeah. I'm just gonna go this way, man. Exactly. Yeah, you might not want to dap them up because they can cross spirits or something. Man, you don't know about that, man. Handshaking, man. You gotta be very aware of that. But that's another topic, though, man. I don't like people touch me too. I don't really mess with them like that. But anyways, So like I said, man, I got about 3 questions left. You already know the last question, so we can go ahead and you got that on your mind a little bit. But what would you say keeps you motivated like day to day to keep on this grind of what you're doing? My motivation, of course, is my kids, man. Of course, my kids, my family, and just most of all, and number one, importantly, Christ, because He put me in this position to do what I need to do, and and most times, as a as a follower, I feel like I could be doing more. And sometimes I feel like, and I'm not going to even say sometimes, like all the time, like, I fail, or I feel like I failed Him in many ways, that like certain situations I could have handled it better. Yeah. Or certain situations I didn't have to do that, man, or come on, man, you know better than that. But He's the main reason that I have and will be accomplishing more things, because He put me in this position to do the things that I need to do for him to speak it with my music, for people to wear it with the clothing, and just different aspects. And that's why I would say, one of the main reasons. But of course, the other things, all that I just said, fall in line as well. But he being the biggest reason why that what motivates me at the end of the day.
Yeah, so. Definitely. And when it comes to the word as well, I think people have to really understand this whole conversation. It's like the world tells you to go fast, God tells you to be patient. The world tells you to think about self, God tells you to deny yourself. So really, really understand that concept and what's actually going on. And then once you kind of can wrap your brain around it, you can really see what you need to see. So now, at least if you have the knowledge, you can actually move that way, and you can, at least now if you make the mistakes now, then you understand what mistake you made. What do you say? My people will perish off a lack of knowledge. Well, get the knowledge so you don't have to perish. You know what I'm saying? So go from there.
It's there. It's there.
Yeah.
You just, you can't, you just gotta find it basically, man.
Yeah.
It's there. You just gotta ask for it, man.
Exactly, man. So, like I said, man, so here's another one for you, I'm stuck between two, because I'm trying to think about which one I would want to ask first. You know what? Now we'll go with this one, and then we'll do the last question. And you can go ahead and, give advice, shout out your stuff, and then I can go ahead and close out the show.
Okay.
So knowing what you know now, in all your situations, what would you have done differently that might have maybe got you maybe there quicker, or maybe you might have not done anything differently, but knowing what you know now, what would you have done differently?
Oh man, goodness, great. No,
it's a deep
I know, man. Deep question. Honestly, and this might be another cliche answer. I honestly wouldn't change a thing, and here's why: because I wouldn't have gone through everything that I went through to get me to this point to be stronger than I was yesterday. Because I could have easily, you can easily just say, okay, well, I would have just, I would have probably, some people would say I would have never had kids, or some people would have said, oh, I probably would have invested in cryptocurrency, or whatever the case may be. But would that have helped you to become stronger in who you are today? You could have been a different person, or even worse person, you know what I mean? But as for me, I don't think I would have changed nothing, because it made me stronger. The process might have been long, but it was, looking back now, man, it was just, the storm was a rough one, but I knew that, through it all, he was carrying me and he was helping me. So, and it also made me stronger, so I know how to handle those situations if they were ever brought up again later on in life. So, yeah, honestly, I wouldn't change nothing, man. I wouldn't change nothing.
That's good, man. There's two people that said that. I had the girl that used to twist my hair. She said that. She said, because everything I did, it made me realize how strong I was. You know what I mean? And I was like, dang. I was like, that's the first time I heard someone say that. I was like at the beginning of January. And I was like, dang. I was like, go into detail. I was like, I've never heard no one say that before. So that's true, man. And I mean, I feel the same way in the aspect. It's like I went through a lot of crazy stuff, but it's like, now I'm at the point now where it's like, throw curveball, throw fastball, throw a split finger, throw a knuckleball, hit a home run.
You can hit a home run every time.
Not even worried about it.
It's like, it literally, it would not be foreign to you when you see it. When you see the position, you're like, oh, I know what this is. This is a curveball. I know exactly how to hit it. Bah, home run every time. But if you say you do that change, oh man, I don't know this one. Strikeout every single time.
So it's going to take longer to get to that point of understanding. So, like I said, one more question. This is the last one. We'll go ahead and shout out his stuff, and I close out the show like I always do, man. So,
yes, sir.
Derrick, Omar, Justice, man, how do you define success?
Oh boy, nah.
I know you thought about it a little. I gave it to you. I gave it to you a little bit before.
How I define success is through the people, is how I define success. And I'm not saying through the fortune and the fame. It's about the people that you have around you.
Yeah.
The people that you touch as well. Like some people define success as having more money, having more notoriety, reaching a certain stage in your life, as far as like, you know, basically in a nutshell, materialistic things, man. But a form of success to me is the people that are around you, the love that you get, the support that you, it doesn't even have to be money, the support and love that you give, the time, especially to my children, the time, because they spell love Time, of course, you know. So it's that time, the time that you give people while they're on the earth, your grandma, your grandpas, your mothers, your fathers, because sometimes some people don't even have you know, relationships with their parents, you know. And that, I mean, to me, that's such a terrible thing that you can go through. So you have to be that love, that time, the way you touch people's hearts, the way a person can come to you and say, man, bro, I literally was going through a certain similar situation that you talked about in your song, and I was ready to end it all. But when I heard that, and you know, you told me at the end to pray, or however you know, I decided not to kill myself, and now, you know, I follow Christ. That right there is the most amazing thing that I can ever hear. And I don't want to say her name, but she knows exactly who I'm talking about. A certain woman, she was going through a situation in her life, you know, a bad divorce, and you know, it was just, you know, it was really bad. And I had a song called Grateful, and I feel like that was my most vulnerable song I ever wrote. And she emailed me and said that is the most, you know, that is the most wonderful and most powerful song I ever heard. You know, I cried about it. You know, I cried, and it just told, you know, I feel like I can be stronger now. And you know, I'm going through a certain situation, and you know, this is helping me to press forward and helping me to you know, move on. So, you know, I ain't gonna go word for word of what she said, but it was some pretty powerful words that kind of had me teared up. So it's those certain things, those small things that we kind of take for granted is what success means to me, because that means that I've successfully did what he wanted me to do. And what I'm here to do is to inspire and promote positivity for others through him, first and foremost. So that right there in a nutshell describes success to me.
Hey, my man, you already know what it is, my
Man,
man.
thank you so much for having me,
Yes,
man.
sir. You
I
know what it
appreciate
is.
you, man.
Now you can go back and look at this interview and be like, oh, snap, I didn't even know I said that.
Where did it come from? Man, you're gonna be like the next Vlad, man. You got, you know, better than Vlad, man. This right here, the platform that you got is wonderful, brother. I appreciate you so much, man.
Sure.
I thank you, man. I don't think people understand how much this really, the time and the effort is put in behind this right here, behind this brand. So I really do appreciate you for having me, man. God bless you. And the work that you're putting in, man, is absolutely amazing, man. This man does a lot of hard work. So, man, please, y'all, subscribe, support, man. Watch the interviews, man. This man does a really wonderful job, man. Wonderful interview, man.
I appreciate you, bro. Let me go ahead and read these comments to you, see if you have any questions or anything like that. I know some people. I know my boy Mike be pulling up. Let's see real quick. A lot of people said so. I agree so much. Take negativity on social media. I like the positivity. Andrew, Saturday morning with the music going hard. Quincy.
Yeah.
You already know, cleaning up the house. My boy Mike. Yep, it starts with one with my boy Mike, and he said, "In your eyes, what is wrong with hip hop today? Does life imitate art way too much, or is everything okay in the culture?" I know everything okay in the culture.
Yeah, that's a very good question. In all honesty, man, I feel like the way it is now, we just gotta keep it 100, man. Shoot, it's bad, bro.
Yeah.
And it's not even about how they're doing it. It's what they're saying, man. Because your words are powerful. If you're telling not in so much me, but as far as, you know, children, if you're telling them to shoot, rob, kill, murder, that's all. That murder, death, kill. I don't know if y'all watched Demolition Man, but murder, death,
Cold
kill.
movie right there.
Yeah. Man, that's all you hear. That's what you're gonna take from that. So yeah, man, it's just we got to do better, man. If nobody says anything about it, man, like it ain't gonna get cleaned up. So somebody got to clean it up, man.
And he says, yeah, there you go. Just put God first and jump in the pool. His blessings and the inspiration will carry you. Yeah. You say, yep, better than Vlad. So yeah, I've been hearing some things about him. I don't know him personally, but you know what I mean? It is what it is. He is what he is. And mind your business, the beast. I appreciate that, Mike. And thank you for coming through, lady, as well. And I completely agree, man. Thank y'all for everybody coming through.
Thank y'all.
And you got any social media you want to shout out before I close it out?
You can follow me at only.wayisup on Instagram. My website, www.onlywayisup.com. I also have 2 mixtapes out right now. They're on all musical platforms. My first mixtape called For Anyone Who Is Listening, and my second one, To Be Determined. And also, I wanted to say it here first. I'm currently working on my next mixtape called Yahweh. I promise you, this is going to be the best mixtape that I have ever done, that you have ever heard. I'm just stay tuned. I promise you. This will be something for the books, man. Y'all do not want to miss this mixtape, Yahweh.
Hey.
But find all my stuff on musical platforms. Shout out to my boy, Just Amazing. Before Christ out right now. Go stream that.
Yeah, shoot me a link too, so I can tag it up. Whenever I post up the pictures and stuff. But I end the show the same way every time. If you don't remember anything he said or anything I said, always remember, mind your business.
Mind
Peace.
your business.
Oh man.